Championship Saturday continues from the Eli Soccer Park in Milwaukee with a Division IV Golden Ball on the line. Ozaukee Random Lake takes on the Xavier Hawks. Welcome to our broadcast alongside soccer coach Eric Xavier. My name's Matt Menzel. Ozaukee Random Lake. They're at state for the first time as a co-op. The second year they've been a co-op. And for the Xavier Hawks, they are at state for the 12th time, first time since 2014. Looking for state championship number 4 as we check out the Menards keys to this game.
Matt, the key for the Xavier Hawks is to keep scoring goals, get a lead, keep their foot on the gas. For Ozaukee Random Lake is to stay hot. They've had an up and down season, but they've gotten hot in the last 5 playoff games, 3 wins and 2 ties. They want to keep that going.
All right, so we kick off this Division IV championship matchup. It's Ozaukee Random Lake against Xavier. And now a message from our statewide sponsors. This is your WIAA network affiliate. Back in Milwaukee, 93 degrees our game time temperature for this Division IV championship matchup. A look at the Xavier Hawks out of the Bay Conference, taking on the Big East Conference's Ozaukee Random Lake. The Hawks, 19-3-1. They have rattled off 5 consecutive wins in 8 of their last 9 at for Ozaukee Random Lake in their second year as a co-op. 13-6-4 unbeaten over their last 5, and they qualify for state, outlasting Oostburg. They tied 0-0 from Sheboygan North, but advanced in a shootout 3-2. If you look at Ozaukee Random Lake never as a standalone did they qualify for state. Ozaukee did. The Ozaukee Warriors, 6 state appearances, last in Division III back in 2013. Advanced to the championship game as a standalone, in doing so with 4 titles, with that last one against the Prairie School in Division III in 2013. The Xavier Hawks, their 12th state appearance, first since 2014. Advancing to the championship game for the 4th time. They've won their previous 3 appearances. Their last title, though, coming back in 2008. They won Division II, beating Catholic Memorial 1-0 after beating Grafton in a semifinal 3-0. They also won a Division III title, so they're trying to win a state championship in a 3rd different division. They're at state for the first time as a Division IV school. Rebecca Kramer is the starting goalkeeper for Ozaukee Random Lake, known as Cedar Valley. A 5'6" senior in 2025. All counts honorable mention. Opposed by Abigail Anderson, also an all counts honorable mention, but in the Bay Conference. At 5'2" in this, her sophomore season.
Matt, it'll be real interesting to see how this game plays out with 2 high-powered offenses, some solid defenses, young goaltenders, as you mentioned. Should be interesting.
Soccer ball to midfield. Alexis Wilson will kick things off as this portion of the 2025 WIAA Girls Soccer Championships is brought to you by Menards. Ozaukee Random Lake in the all-white, Xavier in the all-blue. Back there is Cameron Coombs, just joining us besides the temperature. It feels like 95, but that wind, boy, is it whipping. Sustained 20-plus miles per hour, gusts beyond 34 for this Division IV championship matchup.
Was that your own computer model, Matt, that you worked up? Figured that out? Good work.
30-plus for gusts throughout the course of Championship Saturday so far. Faith Wilson. Look there at Mia Everts, junior on the attack for Ozaukee Random Lake. They have seen 11 different goal scorers, 11 with points, but she has been the top scorer. Came into the tournament with over 21 goals to her credit, which includes a total of 5 goals here in the playoffs and 1 assist. And able to win that sectional championship besides the shootout win against Oostburg. Before that, able to knock off Central Wisconsin Christian 4-1 in the sectional semi.
And Matt, Mia Everett, she's one of the taller players out there. So I have a feeling she's going to be a force in the air. It'd be interesting with this wind how these teams play it. They're going to have to adjust to it. It's sort of blowing from one corner to the other corner, so it's not quite cross field, so it is more in the face of the Ozaukee Random Lake team, and they're going to have to deal with that in the first half.
Ball got away there from Helena Krieger. She sports jersey 21 for Xavier. Only a freshman, but she has had a heck of a first high school season. He'd be named a first-team all-conference selection. That's going to take a wicked curve and bounce on out. It got by Mia Everts. And again, kicked out of bounds by Ozaukee Random Lake for a Xavier throw, and the Hawks finishing number 2 in the final D4 state rankings behind Howard's Grove, a team they knocked out of the postseason in the sectional final by a 3-1 score. The goal kick coming up here. And that wind blowing, and seen already starting to play games with that ball on this near side.
And if you're the Xavier Hawks, you might want to think about really pressing Ozaukee Random Lake here, knowing that ball's not going to go very far, and really getting after them.
So the flags again with the wind factor. And a throw in. That coming up here for Ozaukee Random Lake, far side with Maya Turnus. They see her on that back line for Cedar Valley. Now a Xavier throw in. Back for their attacking third. Ball flies just over the head of Krieger. For Xavier, they're coming off a 1-0 victory in the semifinals on Thursday, knocking off Lake Country Lutheran. They were back here at state for the second time as a standalone program. But the Hawks able to get a goal from Ellie Reed. That came in the 61st minute. That was the difference in the game, though. Let's see Lake Country Lutheran up 13-6 in shots. 4-3 Xavier in shots on goal.
Yeah, I'm sure Lake Country Lutheran, looking back at that game, as you mentioned, all the shots they had, but not enough on goal. They had opportunities, so Xavier's going to have to be careful.
Kate Jeanette on the pass, trying to connect there with Krieger. And up top, that shot goes in. Sydney Nylitz puts Xavier on the board here in the 4th minute.
I was just going to say, nice job on the cutback. It was just a little too far, but then coming from the midfield, Sydney Nylitz comes from the midfield, keeps it low. That's the key in this wind, is keep it low, drive it hard. And Rebecca Kramer doesn't have a chance. Well, we said one of the keys to the game was Xavier getting early goals, and they got an early one, and now to keep their foot on the gas, especially with the wind in Ozaukee Random Lake's face, to just keep pressing, look for those turnovers, see if they can't get some more goals on the board here in the first half.
She was limited to 1 shot. It was on goal Thursday. Now able to score her 3rd of this season, her 3rd goal, and it comes here in the 4th minute, giving Xavier the initial lead in this Division IV championship matchup. Jeanette. And coming the other way does Chesney Mayer. Boy, did she get some opportunities for Ozaukee Random Lake. That was in their semifinal on Thursday. Able to outlast Washburn. That went to a shootout, and another lengthy shootout that eventually would see Ozaukee Random Lake prevail 7-6 in 8 rounds, but it was a 1-1 tie through 100 minutes. But Chesney Mayer with 6 shots, 3 on goal.
Matt, it'll be interesting to see how this heat affects both these teams. It's gotten hotter as the day progresses here. Here we are in the afternoon. It's just really, and especially down on that turf, you know, how much effort are they going to be able to expend, or are they going to have to, you know, pace themselves and save up some energy? It'll be interesting to see. I would say when they're fresh, if you're Xavier, you got to be pushing. You got to be pushing. Second half, then you can hang back a little bit when the wind's blowing at you.
So Gabby Wasco out there, number 6 for Xavier. Great presence, a lot of energy, speed. He'll be named an all-conference mention here this spring. Going here for Xavier for Kayla Standish. Again, the Hawks, #1 seed among the 4 to qualify for state. They've been to state 11 previous times. They've been to state as a Division II school 7 times, Division III school 4 times. Now their first time in Division IV. He's going to curve off the right foot of Cameron Coombs.
I think
first team all-conference selection the last couple of years in the Big East Conference.
I think if you're Coach Wilson from Ozaukee Random Lake, you got to be pretty happy with how they've responded to giving up that early goal. And now they've had the ball in the Xavier half most of the last 5 minutes. Really responding well, possessing, even having opportunities on goal.
So they're throwing here for Ozaukee Random Lake. #3 seed in the bracket of 4. And 8th in the final D4 state rankings.
Here's Xavier, keep pushing. Keep pressing, looking for that turnover. Look for that quick break.
Sent behind Maddie Prom, the 2025 all-conference honorable mention. Standish. Now Jeanette. Right off that left cleat, sending it across here for Xavier. Easy pickup here for Rebecca Kramer.
Nice ball by Jeanette. Elena Kruger looked like she was there at the 18, but she never went after that ball. That's one of those things where it got over the first defender, and it was there for the taking.
Rebecca Kramer, one of those goalkeepers, according to their head coach, Matt Wilson. Naturally gifted goalie, but as a senior, hasn't played the position prior to the season since her younger rec league years. Also been a solid backup if needed, but played the field as a defensive mid. Excellent at that as well, but has grown this season, leading from that goalkeeper position, earning honorable mention all-conference. He said that she has made some unbelievable saves that you swear was a sure goal. She's helped her team now find themselves in this spot as Ozaukee Random Lake putting the ball back into play. Off the right cleat there with Cameron Coombs. Going to run to the outside here with Maddie Prom. Back to the way come the Hawks. Krieger. With some space now trying to get by the oncoming Newman. So Bazona Newman, a second teamer on that back line for Ozaukee Random Lake. They will have the goal kick here. That comes soon to be the 10th minute from the Eline Soccer Park in Milwaukee.
Nice job by Newman tracking down Elena Krieger, who's had a big scoring year. She's super fast. Newman tracked her down and won the goal kick.
Newman goes right back here with Eva Stankiewicz. Is back there for Xavier. She was all kinds of mention of the Bay Conference here this season.
We said one of the keys for Xavier was just keep scoring goals. They got that early one, and now keep that foot on the gas and keep pushing and keep pushing. Try and get that second one. Try and open up a lead. Really put Ozaukee Random Lake behind the 8 ball.
Sent out by Turnus. Flipped over there by John Meyer, the head coach for Xavier. Has been around a good 13 years now with the Hawks. Off of Sierra Simon. I'm throwing here for Ozaukee Random Lake.
I don't know the exact dates, but Coach Meyer's been around both Xavier's girls and boys soccer program for a lot of years as an assistant before he became the head coach.
Offside flag is up. Head referee is Pat Murphy from Wausau, Eugene Pliska from Wapaka, and Lee Schmidgold from Fall Creek, the 2 ARs for this Division IV championship matchup. A game that sees the Xavier Hawks already enjoying a 1-goal lead. 4th minute, a goal from the top of the 18 for Sydney Nylitz.
Man, I'm hoping we get more goals here. That was an exciting start. Now it's slowed down a little bit.
Jeanette, nice move. Trying to connect upfield here with Standish. Under the end line, can't quite get there. For the goal kick here for Ozaukee Random Lake.
Great pass by Jeanette. Standish not able to get that good first touch. Her touch let her down, let her away from the goal. And on this turf, you got to be super careful. If she could have gotten her foot around it, taken that touch and directed it right towards the goal, she would have had an easy one.
This Cedar Valley team finishing number 3 out of 8 in the Big East Conference. Cedar Grove, Belgium, taking number 1. Howard Grove finishing 2nd. Howard Grove, again, a strong year, finishing number 1 in the final D4 state rankings before they fell to Xavier in a sectional final last Saturday. Of course, Cedar Grove, Belgium, last year's D4 state champs, moved up a division, had a 2-goal lead and a tough loss 4-2 against Kiel, who's become quite the rival for Cedar Grove, Belgium over the last number of years, regardless of division.
And Kiel took their semifinal state game into overtime. So a lot of tough teams in the Big East Conference.
Braley Kiepert on the throw here for Xavier. Knocked away for a second by Jeanette. From Jeanette and upfield, he had Krieger and a corner kick for the Hawks. Matt Wilson looking on. Also the boys head coach at Ozaukee, but taking over. This is first year with this co-op. Mentioned they came together part of last season at Ozaukee at Random Lake High School. Last year being their first as a co-op, going 16-5-1. Lost in a sectional final against Cedar Grove, Belgium, 4-0.
Here's an example of that wind wreaking havoc a little bit. The corner kick. You got to judge it. You got to know how far can I get it. Got to play it low into that wind. Try and drive it. See if Xavier does anything different on this one.
Yeah, good luck here to Helena Krieger. The Hawks finishing with a total of 3 corner kicks in their semifinal against Lake Country Lutheran on Thursday. So off this corner. And knocked away and right back to the feet of Alexis Wilson. Regained though by the Hawks. And trying to go across did Krieger. This portion of the 2025 WIAA Girls Soccer Championships is brought to you by the Wisconsin DOT.
That's what I'm talking about for Xavier, that constant pressing. Don't give Ozaukee Random Lake an opportunity to get the ball out of their own end. Keep pressuring them. Get somebody on the ball, cut off those passing lanes. Get them to play the ball out of bounds. Now here's Xavier, throw in right away.
15th minute, a hydration break. Again, if you're just joining us, 2 per half now being implemented with the extreme conditions here in Milwaukee. And so a hydration break here in this D4 championship matchup that sees Xavier on top of Ozaukee Random Lake by a 1-0 score. Well, Eric's taking full advantage of this hydration break as well. Rightfully so. One of those days you got to do anything you can to limit your exposure to the sun and to the heat. As John Meyer looks on for Xavier, and we check out their road to state presented by Rural Mutual. Get the Xavier Hawks out of the Bay Conference, number 1 seed in their bracket. First they beat Elkhart Lake and then Lord's Academy to win the regional championship. Beat the Wrightstown Tigers and then Howard Grove. Also the Tigers, 2-0, 3-1 up 3-0 by halftime in that sectional final. Played from St. Mary Catholic. It was their first sectional final appearance since 2019.
Here at Ozaukee Random Lake, you saw those Xavier scorers. You want to put Xavier in a situation that they haven't been in. You know, they jumped out to big leads in all those games. Stay close. make Xavier play with some pressure and see what happens.
Look here at the Ozaukee Random Lake Road to State, presented by Rural Mutual and getting out of the Big East Conference. Berlin, Lodi, the 2 wins to win the regional championship. You see the 4-1 victory against Central Wisconsin Christian before prevailing in a shootout against the Lady Dutch of Oostburg from Sheboygan North last Saturday. One of those days between the wind, humidity, temperature, trying to, again, find shade when we can find it. There's plenty of water. I know, glad to see you're staying hydrated. You were a little choked up earlier, but getting that taken care of.
We were talking about before, we got all this cottonwood flying around too.
All over the place.
So it's like all over everything. Gets in your eyes, your mouth. Players are dealing with that.
And the wind's been just picking up as the day has gone on. We'll have another hydration break in about 15 minutes or so from now. There have been certainly some hot days here at State, but this has got to be at or near the top all time. Certainly with the way the WIAA calendar played out, things got pushed back a week, so one of the later state tournaments as well.
Yeah, we've had all sorts of weather, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, windy, rainy. And this is sort of a combination of a bunch of those. The heat, the clear sky, so you got the sun. And we got that wind, too. At least now the wind is providing a little relief. It's a little cool. I was in Las Vegas, or outside Las Vegas last summer, and the wind was blowing, but it was like somebody had a hair dryer. It was blowing hot air. It made it even worse. So far we haven't reached that yet, but is it supposed to cool off? Meteorologist Matt, tonight?
Not for at least another 3 days.
Oh, man. So tonight, not much relief?
Not at all. You see a goal kick being set up, that for Chloe Dybel. Did a great job back there for Ozaukee Random Lake. Chloe Dybel, first team all-conference. Second team all-conference in 2024. Yeah, so I hope you've turned your air conditioning on. So you'll get a workout these next 3 days.
Oh, I have it at home. Well, my kids are older, so they just turn it on. They don't even ask. They know how, and they don't ask. They just turn it on.
I'm glad they know how. Emily Luza subs in for Ozaukee Random Lake.
They're not paying for it. It was a lot easier when they were younger. They didn't know how, and they would just ask, and it was like, no.
Chesney Mayer on the throw-in for Ozaukee Random Lake. Love you've seen Belleville, New Glarus in the past, a.k.a. Sugar River. And so Ozaukee Random Lake, and documented now, going with the Cedar Valley name, if you will, with the local cheese factory located halfway between the two schools. Major sponsor of the team as well, that with Ozaukee High School and Random Lake, Fredonia, Random Lake. Cedar Valley on their way into the state tournament for the first time in this setup. Let's see another corner kick for Xavier. I like that tactic there from Ella Hendricks, just wrapping the flag around the flag to make sure that doesn't start flapping in her way.
Pretty smart, actually.
Off of Jeanette. Headed the second time, and now with Kiepert. And a couple of players to the turf. So whistle here against number 6, Gabby Wasco.
Let's see that again. Not sure what happened there. Yep. Braylee Kiepert just runs through her own teammate and the Ozaukee Random Lake player.
Emily Luza there for Cedar Valley. Off the throw. And the back up.
Well,
and again here with Cameron Coons. Flag now bending from the direction again of Xavier. Going to be curious to watch. You referenced it. The wind was blowing straight across when the day began. Now it's more of an angle. But it would look like, at least the way that last game finished off, the way this game has started, if you're going on this north end of the field, you may have a slight advantage. We'll see if that does, in fact, ring true as this game wears on.
I was going to say, Xavier's got the win. They've had a majority of the possession. They've had it in Cedar Valley's, defending third, so in their half of the field, and yet they've got the one. I think if you're Xavier, if you're Coach John Meyer, you'd feel a lot better if you could pick up a couple of more before you have to go into the wind.
It's been a year in which they have had no lack of scoring. That was one of your keys. They've been able to score with this goal included 99 on the year, including a total now of 23 in the postseason.
That's why I think, especially if you got the wind at your back, you got to come out of here with more than one.
Ozaukee Random Lake now has allowed a total of 37 on the campaign. Only given up one in their first 4 postseason games, now 1 in each game here at State. Sent ahead by Kayla Standish. On that far touchline for Krieger. And back is Newman for Ozaukee Random Lake.
Newman doing a nice job of staying in front of the ball and not letting Krieger cross it, keeping it out of danger. Ends up deflecting it out of bounds for a corner. Again, Xavier's got this. They're going to have a little bit of a wind. They got to make sure that they've got people on that far post because the ball's going to travel. They need to get there. You want to drive it low, keep it about a head high. I always like having the going against the wind in the first half when we were fresh. And then in the second half, when maybe you're a little fatigued, then you've got the wind at your back.
Hendricks. And put out of the air by Jeanette. And right there in front with Sydney Nylitz. Next stop is getting ready to sub in. You have Kira Peterson for Xavier. Getting ready to sub in will be Hannah Learned for Ozaukee Random Lake. Giving right back here to Ella Hendricks. Played well and just helping to be that bridge, that gap between defense, offense for Xavier on Thursday. Here come the aforementioned changes coming here in the 21st. We talked about it a little bit in Division 1 with the weather. Does it impact the substitution pattern? A little more depth. Well, both of these rosters have some decent numbers. Ozaukee Random Lake with 24, Xavier with a total of 20 when all healthy. But certainly here in Division 4, smaller schools, you wonder again what kind of toll and what kind of a substitution pattern you may take here in this championship game. Do you switch and change things from where you've been in the first 20-plus games?
Yeah, as a coach, you have to decide, what have I done during the season? How many people off my bench have I played regularly? And in a game like this, the championship game, super important, but with the heat and the conditions, do I need to change that up? Do I need to add more people to that rotation, even if it's just for a couple of minutes? And that's all strategy you got to think about as a coach. You think, well, maybe, you can put somewhere where somebody with a little less experience, where they might not get exposed, but against good teams, they'll find you if you're not ready for the moment.
Ellie Reed back out there for Xavier. Again, we told you she scored her 4th goal of the year, proved to be the game winner against Lake Country Lutheran. Kate Jeanette had the assist. That came in the 61st minute of that game. Look at the history for Xavier at State, and we mentioned 3 prior championship game appearances, resulting in 3 championships. And knock off the Prairie School 3-1 back in 2004 in Division 3 after they'd beaten Sugar River, Belleville, New Glarus in the semis. Knocked off Whitefish Bay. It took overtime 2-1 in 2005 in Division 2, and then in 2008 again it was a 1-0 result over Catholic Memorial in Division 2. But prior to Thursday, they lost in the semis. In their last 5 appearances, although one of them a tie and a loss by way of a shootout. But 8 losses in semifinal play prior to the 1-0 result on Thursday.
Well, they've had some tough luck, but again, we're talking about losing in the semifinal at state tournament. That is a major accomplishment to get there. Most teams can't say that I've been to the state tournament 8 times. We may not have made it to the championship game, but we were there. It's pretty impressive.
It really is. As Chloe Dybel puts it back into play, the wind was starting to move the ball. She was trying to take that free kick. Lose up. Press on the backside from Peterson.
A shot by Peterson, forcing the ball backwards. That's textbook defending. Staying low, staying on the back of the offensive player and forcing that back pass.
There's Gabby Wasco again, applying some pressure for Xavier. And coming across does Ellie Reed. Coming outside with Hannah Lerted. 7 freshmen for Coach Wilson and Ozaukee Random Lake. Take a look at their breakdown. A roster of 24. 7 freshmen with a sophomore, 9 juniors to go along with 7 seniors. 3 starters back from last year's team.
It's going to be an important experience for those freshmen. Being here at state tournament, win or lose this championship game.
Lost one of their top forwards about midway through the season. Knee injury then for Reese Prom. One of the more lethal threats, according to Coach Wilson, on offense. And so they forced others to have to step up. And Alexis Wilson has been one of those players that has, again, replaced Prom following the season-ending injury. Has tried to take over that offensive load. Otherwise, again, a team that has seen outside of Everts, they've had 10 of those players that scored between 1 and 9 goals each.
Matt, it's interesting that you mentioned that. I was just looking at stats for the season, and you've got a number of players on Ozaukee Random Lake who've got 5 or more goals. And you look on Xavier, and they've got their 3 goal scorers, and that's about it. Elena Krieger, Kate Jeanette, Kyla Standish, they scored their goals. So if you're Ozaukee Random Lake, focus on those 3, and you might be able to shut down that Xavier attack.
There's Chloe Dybel on the free kick. That was interesting. You saw a crowd shot a second ago, and most of those students wearing the Random Lake hat. And here are a couple of schools that are typically rivals in almost every other sport now joining forces. I won a state championship here. Ozaukee, Random Lake, a couple of the Random Lake Rams hats for those students.
Yeah, I'd be curious how that's worked out, to ask Coach Wilson about that. And how's that gone with the girls on the team? Have they realized the challenge, but also the opportunity that they have being stronger together, as opposed to thinking, hey, we're from this school, or hey, we're from that school.
And if any problems exist, certainly winning helps solve a lot of the issues. I'm sure after 16 wins last year, another 13-plus wins this season, they're finding their way here to state.
Winning is always the most fun, Matt. When you win, that's a good time.
Last year was a co-op. Last time Ozaukee was a standalone program was back in 2023. That team had 14 wins and then lost in a regional final. You go back, Sydney Nylers with that last chance for Xavier. You go back to 2023, Random Lake as a standalone went 2-12. The year before that, 5-14-1. So all of a sudden now you start to pull your talents together. These 2 teams together have found a great deal of success and hoping to finish us off here on this championship Saturday and overcome this 1-goal deficit.
And obviously been very beneficial. What I'd like to see from Xavier, they've had a majority of the possession in the Ozaukee Random Lake half, and just have not strung together a lot of passes. It's been a lot of one-on-one. And Ozaukee Random Lake has done a nice job of stacking defenders against Helena Krieger and Kate Jeanette especially. just have not given them a whole lot of room to operate. Xavier's going to break through again. It's going to be important that they work some give and go, some combination stuff, that they really spread the ball around on the ground instead of trying to go it's not one-on-one, one-on-two, one-on-three, because Ozaukee Random Lake's doing a really nice job. Xavier, the Hawks, they're going to want to get the Ozaukee Random Lake defense spread out, and that's where Helena Krieger, especially, she's their big goal scorer. That's where she's going to be able to find those seams in that defense.
Sierra Simon back on for Xavier. Shots right now are 3-1 in favor of the Hawks, 3-0 Hawks in shots on goal. Wasco. That's going to go out. On this near side again for the Hawks was Kira Peterson.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody from Xavier, everyone's just running away from the ball. Getting somebody, one or two of them, to check back to it. That will allow the player with the ball to play a pass and then get it right back, really moving full speed towards the goal in space and open up some other things.
Hydration break here in the 29th minute with a 1-0 Xavier lead, getting a goal back in the 4th minute from Sydney Nylens.
Matt, I took a hydration break last time. It's your turn. Get that cream soda out.
No, you can't. Again, you can't do the soda. That doesn't help.
You are a new man. You're a changed man.
You gotta drink the water, the Gatorade.
You need your electrolytes? Definitely not. If they're smart, they're inside watching us on TV.
That looks nice. Big garbage bin full of ice.
They put the rags in there.
That's one way to do it. Just stick your whole leg with cleat included right through the garbage bin. And again, and you factor, okay, right now the actual temperature, the update still says it's about 93, feels about 96, so that's going up a degree. That doesn't even equate to what the temperature feels like down there on the turf.
I'm not sure teammates appreciate that. They're digging rags out of there to put around their neck.
Well, but you got the whole,
teammates sticking both cleats in there.
Well, look right there with Helena Krieger. I think it's one of those days where it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Whatever you got to do to stay cool. But that's one way to do it. Maybe you and I can go do that after.
Yeah,
we'll
stop over there. I know Coach Meyer. I'll ask him if we can borrow.
Obviously, you bring the umbrella, but the problem with the umbrella is the wind. The camera operators doing the best they can. Again, they can only do so much with the wind blowing as it is.
How important is sunscreen for the camera operator on top of the building there? Getting that direct sunlight, the heat radiating off the top of the building.
Right now, the wind blowing at a gust 37 miles an hour, so that's improved. When I say improved, means it's gotten even gustier. Jordan and Charlie. Chuck doing the best they can. Jordan's got the towel, but got to get a hat for Chuck. Don't be a hero. Not all heroes wear capes. My goodness.
I hope they're harnessed up there. A couple gusts of wind.
Oh, give our crew a lot of credit, though. And to be truthful about it, we're doing the best. I know we have people getting them water and whatnot, so it's not as though, again, they're out there suffering. We're doing the best we can to keep them obviously safe during what are certainly extreme conditions here at the Eli Soccer Park.
I don't know if we think about it enough. The cameramen, whether it's like super hot like today or when it's super cold out, that's stankless at times. So thanks to those guys.
You're not kidding.
Those men and women and what they're doing.
This portion of the 2025 WIAA Girls Soccer Championships is brought to you in part by Rural Mutual Insurance. And the worst part about that sun, too, is it's about to start it starts to make its way to the west. It's going to be right at this side of the field, camera side of the field. Very unforgiving.
They'll be looking right into it.
Change for Xavier. Allie Reed to this near side. And we'll see Kira Pearson go off. Aubrey Reed was the change for the Hawks, so she takes that far side with Ellie Reed dropping to this near side with that substitution. Simon going to the outside, nearly taken away by the oncoming Chesney Mayer.
Ellie Reed, only a freshman, had the game-winning goal for Xavier in their win over Lake Country Lutheran in the semifinal. Got a lot of young players playing important roles for the Xavier Hawks.
Out there right now for Ozaukee Random Lake is Savannah Quaid. Her junior season. Here we sub in shortly for Xavier will be Helena Krieger. She was one of the players that jumped fully into that garbage bin of ice.
That was a good idea. Ozaukee Random Lake's defense was up. They had a good line, but trying to play a ball back behind them in enough space before the goalie can come out and get it, they almost got it through.
Everett's on the throw-in. I'm curious to know if somebody has the task today, the one job of delivering the ice around to the various teams, and the machine out there, making sure that that's well stocked. Not often you have to employ somebody to do that, but again, these are difficult days.
Desperate times. Desperate times.
Right now, the area, if you're just joining us, under extreme heat warning. And we'll play it back here with Cameron Coons. One hopper. And coming out, Ed Anderson. Played instead there by Mia Everts.
Nice idea. Nice ball by Coons. At first, I thought she was shooting, and I was wondering. They had such nice possession there, but she was trying to pop it through to that far post and got it there. And almost had a good opportunity.
Coons. Well, back outside, kicked away from Maddie Prom. Here again with Faith Wilson. I was talking with WIAA about it yesterday. Just, with the extremes, you see a good ball here for Xavier, but got away there from Kayla Standish.
That's two now. Yeah, great pass. That's the pass I'm talking about. Playing it over that back line. Get your forward running onto it. And Standish, unfortunately, she's had 2 bad touches on passes like that. If she brings that one down, it was tough. Ball bouncing on this turf, it was tough, but she brings that down. She's got a good opportunity for a goal. So she's had a couple of those. See if she can bring one down here, but beautiful ball.
Next break, Xavier get ready to make 3 changes, which will include the goal scorer, Sydney Nylitz. Mentioned already, Krieger get ready to sub in. And same thing with Braylee Keepert. But talking with the WIAA tournament personnel yesterday, and one of the concerns was the forecast. And the way it was phrased was, we've been in contact with one of the local stations, one of the weather meteorologists, and the problem is what's plan B? And the problem is it's not like, okay, between this window and this window, it's going to be cool. It's going to be hot all day.
And even
next 3 days.
Thinking, yeah, moving it back a day or whatever, or 2 days, you just can't. It's going to be like this every day.
So right now they've implemented, as mentioned, a couple of hydration breaks in each half. They've slightly extended halftime, but at halftime they have both teams make their way to the indoor facility where it's air conditioned. So certainly taking all the steps they possibly can to keep all these athletes and personnel safe. Off the cleat there with Kayla Standish.
There's that ball again, Matt, behind the Ozaukee Random Lake defense. Standish not able. She just got to run through that and take it. A little indecisive there. She's got to run through it and take it. Another beautiful ball.
How to play by Keepert.
Xavier's got that Ozaukee Random Lake defense figured out. They've been able to play some balls behind. They just need to get on the end of it. Get some shots on goal. Nice pressure by Standish. That's what Xavier's got to do.
And for the Hawks with Stankiewicz. Ellie Reed. Reed comes up with it. With the pass it off, but it was disrupted. And swung again. Hendricks. And brought in by Rebecca Kramer.
Good idea by Hendricks. If she would have played that to the far post, she had a teammate out left who was making a run in from that left flank.
Right now, shots are at 4-1 Xavier, 4-0. Making out 5-1 Xavier, but look at the shots on goal differential for those for the Hawks. They'll set the tone by scoring in the 4th minute. That last shot also credited on goal, so make it 5 shots on goal right now for Xavier. Ozaukee random blank with the 1 shot attempt that was credited off target for Cameron Coombs. Ella Hendricks, that latest opportunity, leads to another goal kick for Cedar Valley. They will make a couple of more changes. Now seeing Addison Brody run onto the field. Also subbing in is Bianca Marini. Also doubles as a backup goalkeeper. Cedar Valley playing a total of 14. They've gone a little bit deeper in this championship match with 14 played in the semifinal. Xavier ended up playing a total of 15 in that semifinal.
I think the more players you can get in and give opportunities in this heat, the better off you're going to be.
Let's see a throw in here for Xavier. Again, waiting. The change is going to be coming shortly with Mackenzie Najedlow. 37th minute. E4 championship matchup. You see the Xavier Hawks record of 19-3-1. Ozaukee Random Lake 13-6-4.
Well, there's another opportunity for Xavier. They got to take advantage of some of these chances they've had. They've had some good looks, good balls over the top, good through balls. They've had corner kick opportunities. It's their 4th corner kick. They need to take advantage.
Krieger was kicked out instead. That was off the right foot of Ellie Reed, resulting in a goal kick. Here's that change mentioned with Najedlow on for Ozaukee Random Lake. So breather here for Cameron Coons, who is River Falls bound. Future River Falls Falcon. Dybel. Right off that right cleat with Alexis Wilson. Now officially 5 corner kick for Xavier. They play with this 1-goal lead. And closing on 2 minutes left here in this first half. Standish. Right there in front, yeah, Krieger.
Nice idea by Standish. Krieger took a step back to open up a passing lane. Here we've got another corner kick opportunity. Xavier's got to take advantage of these. They want to extend their lead.
Come over to take this corner kick. Ella Hendricks, get number 6 for Xavier. See what direction she goes here. Still alive on the turn. You have 3 standing right there for the Hawks, and the look came number 11, Kayla Standish. Krieger was blocking Standish. Standish took the shot. Ball angles out. And right there for Xavier was Ellie Reed. See, on top of the fact you're battling the weather, you got to watch out for flying soccer balls.
Yeah, that was close. That was close.
Number 11 with that attempt for Xavier, Kayla Standish.
You see that sometimes where the ball or the player comes flying into the cameraman or camera person.
We had 3 players standing right there. You had Krieger, you had Standish, Ellie Reed. Trying to take advantage off that corner kick that had been taken. That by Ella Hendricks.
That's who Xavier's got to get untracked here. Krieger and Jeanette and Standish.
Dybel. Final seconds will tick away. Maddie Prom will just send it right back toward the Xavier sideline area. Halftime upon us in this Division IV championship matchup. Xavier has the initial lead. The goal was scored back in the 4th minute by Sydney Nylitz in the first half. I certainly saw most of the possession with the Xavier Hawks, who are currently out shooting Ozaukee Random Lake 7-1, including 5-0 in shots on goal. Stay tuned. Our halftime report is coming up here from Milwaukee, but now a message from your local station. This is your WIAA network affiliate. Halftime in Milwaukee, a 1-goal lead for the Xavier Hawks for the Division IV Golden Ball. Ozaukee Random Lake, the opponents. We check out some of the highlights from the first half. Sydney Nylitz wasting very little time, scoring in the 4th minute off an assist from Kate Jeanette, picking up an assist now in both games here at State for the Hawks. Look at it here for Sydney Nylitz.
Nice job by Nylitz, keeping it low.
So goal number 3 for Sydney Nylitz. In the 4th minute in a first half that would see shots at 7-1 in favor of Xavier. 5-0 Hawks in shots on goal. 6-0 Hawks in corner kicks. 4-0 Hawks in fouls. 2-0 Hawks in offside flags.
Matt, we talked about the win advantage that Xavier had in the first half with the wind pretty much at their back. And you look at those stats, shots, forcing 4 saves, 6 corner kicks, taking advantage of those opportunities. I wonder if Coach Meyer is a little worried. I hope that doesn't come back to haunt them in the second half.
Okay, 19 have played for Ozaukee Random Lake. 15 have seen the field for Xavier. Second half is coming up now. A message from your local station. This is your WIAA network affiliate. Second half just around the corner in this Division IV championship matchup of the 42nd WIAA Girls Soccer State Tournament. Alongside soccer coach Eric Xavier, my name's Matt Menzel, and hopefully you're finding ways back home to stay cool on this very hot Saturday in Wisconsin. Number of fans again bringing the hats, a lot of sunscreen. There was that sunscreen smell in the air. Umbrellas. Besides the heat, the wind also coming into play as well. As both teams making their way back onto the field from the inside. They went inside the indoor facility for halftime, the air conditioning, cool off, and now prepare themselves for the final 40 of regulation.
Matt, I wonder if the second half, that wind is going to make a difference for Ozaukee Random Lake. They were going into it in the first half. Xavier had good opportunities and just couldn't take enough of an advantage. They got the one early, but couldn't add on. That's a break for Ozaukee Random Lake. Now that everybody's a little fatigued, and especially with this heat, they're going to have the wind at their back, and we're going to see if this is going to be a difference maker in the second half.
Again, Ozaukee still looking for their Ozaukee Random Lake looking for their first shot on goal. So far, Cameron Coons with the lone shot for Cedar Valley. Xavier has gotten 3 shots from Sydney Nylitz, also a couple of shots for Kayla Standish, along with Ella Hendricks. This portion of the 2025 WIAA Girls Soccer Championship is brought to you by Menards.
It wasn't until late in the first half, Matt, that Xavier started stringing a few passes together and figured out how to play that ball over the top of that Ozaukee Random Lake back line. That really opened up some opportunities for them that unfortunately they didn't take advantage of. We'll see if going into this wind, those opportunities probably aren't going to be here. It's going to be more balls on the ground.
You see Wasco as Xavier back out in their navy blue. And back there again is Maya Turnus. We have a throw-in coming up here for the Hawks. So able to take the initial lead. And so far the lead which came back in the 4th minute. Return there from Krieger. We've seen her make some nice runs. Same thing though with Kayla Standish. Again, we talk about the fact that she's been able to register a couple of shots. She's had some opportunities.
Yeah, she's gotten behind that Ozaukee Random Lake defense 2 or 3 times and just never had that quality touch that she wanted, that she can do. Just didn't have it, whether it's the wind or whatever. But it was a break for Ozaukee Random Lake because she was in on goal on a couple of occasions. We didn't see a whole lot from Ozaukee Random Lake. They had some decent possession at times in the first half. They could just never sustain that. And we'll see with the wind at their back if they're able to, those flashes of possession they showed, if they're able to do that here more consistently in the second half and then move that possession into the attacking third. Just not enough of that from Ozaukee Random Lake in the first half.
Here's Mayer. Wasco trying to step up there for Xavier. Off the pass that comes to Cameron Coons.
Again, movement off the ball is key. You can't stand around and watch. You got to be moving, giving your teammate opportunities to play a ball into space ahead of you that you can run on at pace.
You were talking to the first half about this co-op. Very unique situation with Ozaukee, Random Lake, a couple of rivals joining forces the last couple of years. And you would wonder, okay, what's the chemistry like? Obviously, your opponents in other sports, and now teammates here in soccer. And the question I have, and I know it was posed by head coach Matt Wilson, one of his areas of concern perhaps is the fact that this is their second coach. They had a different coach last year. He's taken over this year, and so one of the concerns he has is just, again, building that new culture and bringing it all together, learning under Coach Wilson. So on top of the fact you're getting used to playing with one another, now you have new leadership.
And maybe that's a sign that, hey, the chemistry is they're doing okay.
Sent out a play there by Alexis Wilson.
They're doing okay, and Coach Wilson's doing a nice job. We're to this point in the season where you're playing in the championship game, so some things must be going right. Maybe that's the answer to our question, and what we talked about is, winning can, I don't know, I don't want to say solve a lot of problems, but it can at least, that common cause and how much fun winning is. You can brings people together, and obviously it's happened here.
And to be fair, he was the JV coach last year when the co-op started. Familiar. On top of the fact, some of these players last year when they played at the JV level, but still a different look.
Matt, we might about things we don't know exactly. Do these girls, do they already, a lot of them know each other? Are they playing on the same club team or teams? And so they may already have a chemistry and a friendship, or at least an acquaintance. They know a lot of these other girls, so it's not this like brand new, you're all strangers and we're going to put you together on this team.
But Coach Wilson did say this week that it's a team that's extremely dedicated. They're dedicated to the team, each other. So that's cool to see, again, for only being a second-year co-op. They work very hard at practices, always looking to learn more. Also very accepting of constructive criticism and working hard to fix the things that he points out to them. And obviously it's worked.
I think, Matt, you read off in the first half the records for Random Lake as a standalone the last couple of years, and didn't have a whole lot of success. And how now, getting into this co-op, how now they've had that kind of success the last couple of years, and you think that is a positive. That's you play because you love soccer, but you also play because winning is a whole lot of fun, and working together with a team is a whole lot of fun. And I think you see that they've embraced that to get to this point after an up and down season where there were some struggles.
A shot opportunity for Sydney Nylitz. And you look at who they played. They certainly played a number of teams above them division-wise, so battle-tested in the non-conference. Began the year at 0-2-1, playing Menominee Falls, Grafton, Port Washington. Bounced back to win 6 consecutive. Lost a qualified for state once again, led by very talented athlete Cora Erickson. We saw her last couple of years, just like the scoreboard up. Lost to Oostburg, who they would outlast in a sectional final later on this past week, and then fell to Kiel. They qualified for state, moving up to Division III. Tied Howard Grove, the #1 team, in the final D4 state rankings, and then lost to Winneconne, who would lose in a sectional semifinal against Kiel. There's some good competition, not only in the Big East, but non-conference for Cedar Valley.
And yeah, records are not always what they're cracked up to be. You can look at a record and say, man, they were only a couple of games over, 500, 6 games over 500, and you got some of these teams are 19 games over 500. But exactly what you described, some of those games against really tough competition, you're not always going to come out on top, but yet it has made you better because it has shown, exposed some of your weaknesses and allowed you to work on them and showed you what works against good teams. And that can be super beneficial.
Injury stoppage right now is Braley Kiepert. Started to see some of this the other night too. It wasn't nearly as hot. It was in the low 80s, but again, coming off that turf. And now, as again we're on here on this Saturday, perhaps we'll see more of this. Hopefully not. Right now, Kiepert getting some medical attention. The stoppage here in the 47th, allowing both teams to make their way back toward the sideline. That's a sideline that, again, plenty of ice, water. You have the mist machine that is directly behind the medical tent. You still see it spraying out mist to no one over there, but
I was going to say, it looks like the trainer's pretty comfortable.
There it is.
No, Matt, I think if you're the Xavier Hawks, you're a little worried that Sydney Nylitz has 4 shots on goal for you.
Is that LeVar too? It looked like LeVar was enjoying the.
Yeah, he's sitting over there.
The spray machine.
Convenient. He should be in the
there
trench.
He is.
He should be up here sitting in the trenches with us.
Sporting the hot pink. That being our guy, LeVar Ridgway, the director, tournament manager, WIAA. And great to see Kiepert back up, walking under her own power for the Hawks.
But, Matt, I was saying, if you're the Xavier Hawks, you need to be a little concerned that Sydney Nylitz has your majority of your shots. She's got 4 of them already, which is awesome for her. But your big 3 of Krieger, Jeanette, and Standish, that's who they've been getting those shots from all year long, and that's who's been scoring their goals, and we haven't heard a whole lot from them. So I think if Xavier, if you're going to increase this lead, those big 3 need to start stepping up.
Yeah, still looking ahead of their 1-shot total. Hawks trying to protect a 1-goal lead for another game. 6th spot just on Thursday, as they recorded their 13th shutout, 3rd in the postseason. And now we'll throw it on this near side for Ozaukee Random Lake to be triggered by Chesney Mayer.
And I think of those top 3 for Xavier, Krieger, Jeanette, and Standish. It's not that they're not playing hard and doing good things. I didn't mean it to come off that way, but for them to be actively involved all the time and really getting after it up front, they've done that. Things just haven't spelled out. Ozaukee Random Lake's done a nice job of shutting them down and limiting their opportunities. So those 3 need to figure out, okay, how can I put myself in a position where I'm going to have the opportunities that my team needs?
Goal kick here for Xavier. Anderson coming off a 3-save shutout on Thursday. What a job they've done to get back to state. Boy, for a while it seemed like every year they qualified for state. In fact, 11 state appearances between 2003 and 2014. This being their first since 2014. Been a while. You look at some of the records lately. Go back to last year, they were 10-6-5, lost in a sectional semi. They tied Lord's Academy, but lost in a shootout. The year before that, sectional semi to Notre Dame Academy. That was an 8-win team. They won 7 games in 2022. Also falling to Notre Dame Academy. That was a 4-0 regional final.
That is usually the nature of high school sports, you know, the ups and downs of success. That's why it's so amazing, those teams that have continued success, like the run Xavier had in the 2000s, their early 2000s. Just that sustained success, that's just really hard at this level as you get new groups of students and players every year. You know, that's even more a testament to the programs and the coaches and the players when they're able to sustain that success.
And not to mention, based on the bracket, it seems like we've seen it with a number of teams, there's that one team that's that roadblock. You just can't get over that hump. Eventually, maybe you break through. Maybe you don't. But eventually with Xavier, for a couple of years anyways, they ran into Notre Dame Academy. That was the roadblock getting back here to state.
Yeah, and it's funny how those work for both girls and boys soccer. You know, you run into those same teams, and sometimes that same team can be the roadblock or the struggle. When you finally beat them, then you realize, hey, we can do this.
I was going to say, I've got to believe at some point, if you lose, back-to-back, 3 years in a row to the same opponent, some of that becomes mental. Oh, here we go again.
Yep.
You fall behind, and you take yourself mentally out of the equation.
Yeah, you focus too much on the other team and what they do and do well, obviously, as opposed to just thinking about yourself and what you do well and sticking with that. You don't realize it, but that's that mental game. Like you said, you almost psych yourself out thinking too much about the opponent. Just take care of your business and do what you do well and impose your will on them.
Collision there at midfield and getting knocked down. Chloe Dybel able to pop back up for Ozaukee Random Lake. Chesney Mayer. The pressure on that backside from Sydney Nylitz. And here with Kayla Standish. Nice second effort with Cameron Coons.
I mentioned Cameron Coons' name a lot today. She's doing a nice job in that midfield.
Now, she has played at a very high level last couple of years for Ozaukee Random Lake. Off Kayla Standish. Standish coming through. And what's impressive about Xavier, when you start breaking down what could be, is the fact that this is a team that 3 out of their top 4 scorers were freshman status. And Standish being one of those players helped start the scoring in their sectional final against Howard Grove. Also got a big goal in that game from Helena Krieger of freshman status. A young team.
Yeah.
It's younger coming in. I guess we say this all the time. It's a young team on paper, but by this point in the season, they all have that full season of varsity experience.
But where you were going with that, Matt, is just look past this year. You know, what does that look like as sophomores, as juniors? Think about this experience gained. And to get to this state final, it's just going to be, man, it's got to be exciting for Coach Meyer, looking forward, going, yep, all these girls are coming back, and we've got all this experience, and you just keep building and keep building on that.
Emily Luza back in for Ozaukee Random Lake, taking the spot of Cameron Coons. Besides the freshman, you have a now experienced goalkeeper, only a sophomore, and Anderson.
And that's one of those hardest positions to fill, is that goalkeeper. Someone who likes doing it, someone who's skilled at it. Those are hard to find. So if you got one who's young and can get that experience and loves playing goalie, you found something.
Thrown here for Peterson. Shots were 9-1 in favor of Xavier, 7-0 Hawks and shots on goal.
Here's a good example. There's Helena Krieger trying to take on 3 defenders, and Ozaukee Random Lake's done such a nice job at really just shutting her down and throwing multiple defenders at her. Her teammates need to help her out. They need to check too. She needs to lay the ball off and then take off. We've seen her speed in the first half. We saw how fast she was. She needs to lay that ball off and go and get that return pass, and she could be in all alone.
That was sent forward by Mayer. Hawks sent it right back, top the 18, got caught in the jet stream off the side of the cleat there of Savannah Quaid. Now coming the other way.
Ooh, I thought there was going to be a handball on Xavier there. It bounced up a little high off that turf.
Let's go! Keep it up!
It's more 50-50 to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they call it.
Up that right side with Sierra Simon. This portion of the 2025 WIAA Girls Soccer Championships is brought to you by Wisconsin DOT. Ella Hendricks is back in for Xavier.
This girl brings one down to right here, passes to here, and then runs around and goes back to her. So either
And outside the 18, Newman. The put out of the air is off the head of Kate Jeanette. Jeanette again with the assist on the lone goal so far in this D4 championship matchup, coming through with an assist as well. And the lone goal that was scored by Xavier in the semi against Lake Country Lutheran on Thursday.
There you go. Go, Maddie, go.
Wasco on the one touch pass that came from Sydney Nylitz. Split a couple to run here from Helena Krieger. Kramer's got to get back up, trying to get back into positioning. Instead, a shot that's going to deflect off the post and in. That for Helena Krieger, and a 2-goal lead for the Xavier Hawks.
So I was talking about, Matt, their big 3 stepping up. Helena Krieger, nice touch past the goalie. And how did that start out? You talked about Sydney Nylitz being so active today. That started out with her at the midfield, making a nice pass out of the midfield. Helena Krieger steps around to the goalie. And then the defender place it high. It's really smart in that situation. You got a defender sitting in the goal. She can't use her hands. So you want to play it up around her shoulder area. And did a nice job.
The freshman with her 28th on the year. As Krieger in the 55th. With that nice deflection, far post.
Yep, put it right where she had to put it. Maybe she cut it a little too close, but she'll take it. It hit the inside of that post, went in the back of the net. That's exactly what she needed to do. Played up high. Defender couldn't do anything about it.
Hannah Learned into the game for Ozaukee Random Lake.
And that's that speed we talked about too. That touch past the goalie, Rebecca Kramer, and then beating the defender around the corner, giving herself and driving the ball to the goal.
So Nylitz, a junior, scoring the first goal, and now Krieger, the freshman, scoring goal number 2 for the Hawks. That gives them 100 on the year. That is a team, including now 24 in the postseason. And again, Xavier trying to do something that's almost unheard of. Regardless, throughout their history, trying to win a state championship in a 3rd different division after they won a Division III Golden Ball in 2004. They won a couple of D2 titles in 2005, 2008. Now trying to bring home a Division IV title in 2025. First, though, here in the 56th, a hydration break. It's a 2-goal lead for the top seed here in Division IV. With that insurance goal scored by Helena Krieger. So making her way off the field, Abigail Anderson. Good time for it, too. This hydration break as it continues to heat up here at the Eli Soccer Park in Milwaukee. And checking the updated Temperature still around 93. Still feels around 95. And that wind still blowing with gusts at about 38 miles per hour as the players just dip their legs, cleat and all, right into the garbage can of ice. That's got to be, I got to believe, Eric, at this point, that's got to be just water.
I would think
bath.
so, unless they
do some strawberries over there, I
more
saw
in
too.
there.
Here's the goal. Krieger.
And
Great
again,
deflection.
a lot of individual talent there by Helena Krieger on display.
Love the net cam.
Nice. But that also started with Sydney Nylitz out in the midfield. She's been their player of the day today for the Xavier Hawks.
Newman could only do so much back there for Ozaukee. Random Lake trying to back up. Rebecca Kramer was trying to scramble back into positioning. And looking over at the Ozaukee Random Lake bench area, trying to see how they're finding ways to stay cool. Passing out some ice. See, their 10th is kind of taking a hit.
They need to find ways to score some goals.
So I'm assuming Xavier brought their own garbage bin. Maybe somebody made a pit stop at Menards and got the garbage bins in time here for the state soccer tournament and filled it with the ice. But again, you got to do whatever you got to do. And the tent, it's hanging out of a barrel. Not a great day to have a tent. Better day to fly a kite. So just about done with this hydration break. And Ozaukee Random Lake trying to overcome this 2-goal deficit. Still looking for their first shot on goal. Otherwise, Xavier has gotten goals from Sydney Nylitz along with Helena Krieger. There's Nylitz. Now her goal of the game order back in the 4th minute, which Jeanette picked up the assist. Now with assists and bunch of back-to-back state tournament games. We were talking about the Ozaukee Random Lake body of work with Xavier. Only 3 losses this season. Lost to Appleton West, lost to Winnie County, lost to West De Pere. West De Pere bringing home the Bay Conference Championship. Lost to the Phantoms 3-1 to wrap up the regular season on May the 27th. And one tie, which came against West De Pere back on the 29th of April. As part of a stretch that would see the Hawks unbeaten in 11 consecutive.
Abby, get back. Got one behind you, Abby.
Still a couple of more games to come your way here on Championship Saturday. After this, our attention turns to Division 3. Got to be on your game. It's going to be a battle of the Crusaders.
Ooh,
Keeping those 2 teams straight.
it's going to make it difficult.
Yeah. We've seen it before. We've seen it again here in 2025. That being Catholic Memorial against Edgewood. That will come your way next on these same WIAA network affiliates.
Meteorologist Matt, is it going to cool off at all, or? Oh, there we go. We've got
For a moment with the one lone cloud overhead, giving us sweet
That
relief.
feels good.
Enjoy it while you can. It lasted all of 20 seconds.
Oh,
And technically, it's cool off. It feels like temperature's going from 96 down to 95.
okay. All right.
Progress.
It's dropping. It's
not
dropping.
perfection, progress.
We'll see if we can't get that bucket of ice water up here.
To be put back into play here by Sydney Nylitz. 10 shots now for the Hawks. 8 have been on goal. 4 have been taken by Nylitz. Right now they've seen 5 players with at least a shot in this championship matchup. And a look on the outside, almost for Kayla Standish. We've said that a couple of times in this matchup, almost for Standish. And almost there as well with a corner kick coming up for the Hawks. This will be their 7th.
Nice half volley by Kayla Standish. Rebecca Kramer makes a nice save. Ball's bouncing. Parries it off to the side. Nice save, but nice tough shot. That's exactly what you want to do. Standish plays it across the goal. the whole idea, it's not even necessarily to score a goal for yourself, was to get the goalie to cough up a rebound for one of your teammates who's sitting on the doorstep there. So nice job. Nice job by Kayla Standish.
Hendricks on the corner. Yeah, right there in front, you have Sydney Nylitz. Out with it with Mia Everts. Kept in for the Hawks on their side of midfield. Only give it right back here to Faith Wilson. And Wilson sisters in this lineup for Ozaukee Random Lake. You have Faith and Alexis. Newman taking it away there from Ellie Reed. Now Wasco on the turn here for Xavier. Through the middle. Gonna go back to the outside, but knocked away here by Cameron Coots.
Started talking about the Wilson sisters. I was wondering if you would talk about the rock group Heart. That's the Wilson sisters too.
You're dating yourself as this one rolls out of play.
You probably weren't alive when Heart was big.
Finish strong, Chaz. Let's go.
It's their top hit.
I was never a big fan.
Oh.
Never a big fan. So
That's where it stopped.
That's where it stopped. I just know who formed the band. That's all. I'm more of an 80s hair kind of guy, hair metal kind of guy. So
I'm going to take it away, Maddie Prom. You know what shocks me? Look in the background. The lemonade stand. What's missing there?
people, customers.
Probably too hot to walk over there.
Price gouging, probably. You're going, hey, in demand. People need lemonade right now.
And for Ozaukee Random Lake with Chesney Mayer.
I wonder if they'd give us free samples. We could
promote
give
it.
them some plug on the air. Yeah. Get them a little more business.
Mayer. And set away by the Xavier Hawks. Hyman back there. Annika Hyman, a first team all-conference selection of the Bay Conference. So 7 all-conference performance for the Hawks here this season.
Matt Xavier's settled in behind the ball. Ozaukee's going to have to figure it out. We saw some flashes in the first half of good combination play from Ozaukee Random Lake. They just have not been able to duplicate that here in the second half, even with the wind at their back. They're going to have to figure that out pretty fast. Getting that ball into the attacking third, keep moving, short, quick passes, giving themselves some opportunities out in front of the goal.
Find Faith Wilson, but the Hawks will come away with it. Stankiewicz, pick back off. Dybel. Here's Maddie Prom. And trying to create some separation. Alexis Wilson.
Keep shooting them, let's go!
Great idea by Maddie Prom, lifting the ball into the far post there. Great idea. Just didn't have a forward close enough to that area. But that's the kind of thing they got to do. Really try and stress that Xavier defense.
You're good.
Play challenging balls into the box. They just haven't done enough of that in this state championship game.
Takeaway for Ellie Reed. As Newman trying to come right back and instead clipped Reed. She goes down. Right now Newman with the ball still in. Now kicks it out. On this play on. See the collision. Now the ball's out for the throw and coming up here for Xavier.
Newman's done a nice job all game long, keeping tabs on those high-scoring Xavier forwards.
Simon in for the Hawks. Go there from Keepert. '63rd minute, a 2-goal lead for the Hawks here in this D4 championship match. Hard to believe this being the 11th season. There was no 2020 campaign due to the pandemic, but 11th season already in Division 4. One of these teams about to bring home a Division 4 title, which will make it 9 different schools that have won at least a Division 4 state championship in the short history of this division.
Yeah, there's a lot of parity out there, a lot of good teams, and we're seeing it in who's showing up at the state tournament every year.
There have been two schools that have won multiple Division IV titles, 2 apiece. Brookfield Academy in 2017, 2021, and then the Prairie School in 2016, 2019. No one has ever won back-to-back D4 titles, not yet at least. You look at the last number of years, it goes back to what we were just talking about with the parity. 2022 was Lake Country Lutheran over the Prairie School. 2023 was that explosive nightcap that would see Kiel over City Grove Belgium 6-5 in overtime. And last year, City Grove Belgium over the Prairie School 5-1.
There's a lot of goals there. I like that.
D4 championship game, 1 game decided in overtime, 2 decided in the shootout. We look at the history. It all began back in 2014. Assumption, one of the first ever D4 title by knocking off New Holstein 2-1.
That you mentioned Kiel in there too, and Kiel was here, that New Holstein-Kiel area, a hotbed for soccer.
Kiel moving up a division. They were here in Division III, so nobody came back that was at state in Division IV last year, the exception being Kiel, but they were up a division. They certainly played well, but in a fall in Edgewood 2-0. That game went the overtime route.
Well, kudos to them, moving up a division and still making it through to the state tournament. That's impressive.
Their 4th straight and overall state tournament appearance. Aubrey Reed able to keep it in for the Hawks, but Newman, and a stoppage here. Waiting to allow that sequence to play out.
Nice turn by Aubrey Reed. Turned that quickly on the defender, took it up the sideline, got fouled, kept going. Getting held there. When the advantage doesn't develop, the referee brings it back.
On back here for the Hawks, Eva Stankiewicz.
You travel with your own masseuse.
Getting off the turn here with Aubrey Reed.
If you're the Xavier Hawks, you're not quite to that time in the game yet, but it's about 10 minutes left. That's when you really want to start thinking about shutting this game down, taking your time, throwing the ball in, free kicks, corner kicks, set pieces, just you know, taking a little extra time. Really getting that ball out wide, getting it to the corners, you know, making Ozaukee, Random Lake chase it down. You don't need any more goals. That's why you got to be smart.
Keepert. Around Newman. Well, that took a bad deflection off the cleat there of Maya Curtis.
Nice idea. Playing that ball low on the ground across the front of the goal. That's always dangerous. Luckily for Ozaukee Random Lake, no Xavier players near that. That's a beautiful ball into that tunnel of uncertainty behind those defensive backs. It's just the offensive player. You're facing the goal and you're going at speed. You can get to it first. The defenders, they got their back to their goal. They're turned a little bit. They just can't make that play. And as we just saw, that's a tough play to make, going back towards your own goal.
Ella Hendricks just tied the corner flag, wrapped it around the pole, and did a good job too. Up the left cleat, that with Helena Krieger. Out of the clear, just tapping it back, trying to swing at it, Kate Jeanette. Ball kept alive here again with Krieger. She has the insurance goal, which came in the 55th minute.
Too many people in there for the Hawks to get a good shot off.
This portion of the 2025 WIAA Girls Soccer Championships is brought to you by Rural Mutual Insurance.
I think if you're Ozaukee Random Lake, when do you start really pushing players forward? Right now, they've still got 4 defensive backs covering 2 forwards from Xavier. It's going to come a time where those backs really need to start pushing and throwing balls into the box. They haven't decided to do that yet. It's got to be on Coach Wilson's mind shortly, especially with the wind at their back.
Or as close to their back as can be.
Yeah.
Too much on that pass. And Maddie Prom. Now we have ourselves a hydration break. That comes here in the 69th minute. Came at the right time. What is a 2-goal lead for the Xavier Hawks. Not sure there's enough water in the stadium here on Championship Saturday. But shots right now 11-1 Xavier, 9-0 Hawks in shots on goal. Yeah, some of the fans trying to find ways to beat the heat, but also trying to enjoy the afternoon with the Xavier Hawks right now enjoying a 2-goal lead. Our second game of 4 here on Championship Saturday with one final already. It took a shootout, and Muskego a 4-peat in Division 1. A 1-1 tie, but able to take the shootout in 4 rounds. 3-0. And still to come. Don't go anywhere. We have Division 3 and Division 2 coming up, and you see the approximate start times for those matches between Edgewood and Catholic Memorial, followed by Brookfield Central against Pewaukee.
Got some good matchups coming, Matt. We've had good D1 championship game. We've got Xavier on top here, really pushing it on the offensive end in this D4 state championship game. We've got a little over 10 minutes for Ozaukee to get the Ozaukee Random Lake to get this figured out. What are they going to do? They're going to have to start pushing players up into the box, like we just had, you know, that through ball. But only one player from Ozaukee Random Lake looking to run on to the end of it. They got to push more players forward, get more players into the box, start dumping the ball in there, seeing if they can't get some good opportunities, some good bounces, those balls into the box. Of course, they've got to be careful. The more players they push forward, the more that leaves Elena Krieger, Kate Jeanette, Kayla Standish, and Sydney Nilitz one-on-one with defenders, but down 2-0. It's a chance Ozaukee Random Lake and Coach Wilson are going to have to make.
And finding some shade over there on the Ozaukee Random Lake sideline.
I think I'd like fake being hurt just so I could sit over by the trainer there and the power mister.
You know, it's funny you say that, because I looked at that tent and thought maybe the wind played havoc on that. I think the tent's there by design to kind of shade the sun over there on that far side.
Yeah, I think so.
They have it like that on purpose.
I think the power mister is causing the tent to move too.
Right now it looks like Sydney Nilitz is over there. She was hogging the machine a second ago.
She's smart. Just taking a break, going over there, asking the trainer to check something out.
Don't even fake it, Idra. Just go over there. Krieger here against Maya Turtis. Try to take it away, but recovered for a second by Krieger.
Nice shot by Maya Turtis.
You have Newman.
But like we said, if Ozaukee Random Lake's going to start pushing players forward, they're going to have to be careful. Those big scorers from Xavier, as soon as they get in one-on-one opportunities, could be lights out.
Thrown here again involving Reagan Valinsky for that back line. This her senior season among the only 3 seniors on the Hawks roster. And Ozaukee Random Lake here with Maddie Prom, taken away with Standish. Able to pass it off. Jeanette. Going to the outside here with Keeper. Sending it across. And again, coming out, Kramer able to find us in the nick of time with Krieger right there, ready to pound for the Hawks.
That's one of those things, especially in this heat, but one of the things we always coached and taught was if you turn the ball over, go win it back. Don't hang your head. Don't worry about it. That happens. In a soccer game, you're going to have all these opportunities. Not everything is going to go the way you want it. Way you want it to. Just go win the ball back. Go get back. And right there, Ozaukee, a little fatigued. Turn the ball over. Everybody stands and just watches instead of getting after it, winning it back. They need the ball if they're going to score 2 goals. Right now, Xavier's doing a nice job.
Krieger. Inside of 10 minutes left here in this second half of play.
I think if you're Xavier, they got a little bit of a cushion with the 2-goal lead, but
carry over for Kayla Standish.
When do you decide to, instead of playing balls into the box, just carrying it to the corner and running a little time off that clock? Or, you know, instead of taking that shot, when do you just play it back outside, run some more time off the clock? Don't give Ozaukee Random Lake opportunities for goal kicks, corner kicks, those sorts of things, set pieces.
You see, too, that attempt by Standish, that wicked curve at the end again, got caught up in the jet stream and just took it. I'm telling you, by the end of the state championship Saturday, you and I will be honorary meteorologists. All the terms have been used today.
The jet stream. I think the jet stream's a little higher, man. I mean, I am not a meteorologist by trade, but I thought you got to go up.
So you're trying to tell me that wasn't the jet stream, and just the wind just took it?
A little higher than 25 feet in the air.
Nothing scientific about that?
No. No, I'll Google it. I'll AI it after this game.
You're really busy. WebMD.
Exactly. We got a lot of research to do. I'll talk to our producer Ryan, see if he can't get our crack staff on that, see if we can't get ourselves some answers.
Wasco in replacing Keeper. And for Ozaukee Random Lake, Chloe Dybel. That one deflecting off Ellie Reed.
I think if you're Ozaukee Random Lake, you got to be pressuring every ball.
Going to cut back.
Trying to win it back.
And coming toward the ball was Kayla Standish.
And again, committing players forward. Right then, just 2 players forward, not enough.
For this near sideline came Emily Luza.
This is where in a day like this, when it's so hot, it's going to be really tough. But Ozaukee Random Lake, they really need their midfielders, their wings, their outside fullbacks, even one of their center backs. They really got to be committing forward, filling all these gaps, trying to outnumber Xavier in the back.
You're ready to sub in. Next stop into possession for Ozaukee Random Lake. You have Alexis Wilson. For that final push here in this second half. Standish. And here with Cameron Coombs. Moving over, Abigail Anderson. He's going to roll out.
See, it's a great idea, man, if you're committing numbers forward, but they're not. So you got to give your outside forwards, outside wings, whoever it might be, a chance to catch up instead of just turning and firing the ball downfield. And there's that possession aspect. They've got time. They've got 5.5 minutes. They've got time to possess the ball, get it in the attacking third, continue to work it around, and get some good looks at the goal. They showed us in the first half especially that they can do that.
This second half, Xavier outshot Ozaukee Random Lake 5-0. 12-1 for the game, 9-0 at shots on goal. 8-0 Hawks and corner kicks. Dybel. And kicked away again with Hyman back there.
That's that possession, connecting passes together. They just have not done enough of it.
Coons. Right back to midfield. And set upfield here with Maya Turnus. That's going to roll out. Letting it go does Bolinski, knowing it was their possession.
And again, if you're Ozaukee Random Lake, it hasn't worked. Just playing it forward and trying to run onto it, it hasn't worked. They got to come up with a different plan in these last 4 minutes. As far as connecting some passes, dropping it back, and then that's the time to play that ball through when your wings or your forwards have been had an opportunity to get some momentum and get moving forward into space.
Came off that turn with Luza. And it again. And again, the Hawks will let it bounce out. They found themselves within 4 minutes of their first state championship since 2008. A long time. It'll be their fourth all time they hang out. They'd be 4 for 4, 4 championship game appearances, 4 titles. And again, able to do it in 3 different divisions.
Again, that kind of sustained, a little lull the last 5-6 years, but that kind of sustained success over a period of 10-20 years. Pretty impressive.
We were talking earlier about you start seeing the same teams going over that hump, and for a while for Xavier, that obstacle, yeah, they beat Catholic Memorial for their last title back in 2008, but since coming back to state following that championship season, it seemed like for just a couple of times running into Catholic Memorial or Notre Dame Academy in a semifinal at state, preventing them from getting back to championship Saturday.
And I think about when Xavier had that really good run in the early 2000s, throughout the early 2000s, they were that team that was the roadblock for some of these other teams that we're talking about. Now they've gotten themselves back. Coach Meyer's done a really nice job. They've gotten themselves back to being the one that's in the way of others who want to win that championship.
We invite you to stay tuned during our post-match coverage. Hoping to be joined by John Meyer, the Xavier head coach. Well, the award ceremony on top of picking up the Wisconsin DOT play of the game. That and more coming up following this one. Lexi Simon in for Xavier. Both teams making more and more changes. Najedlo back in for Ozaukee Random Lake. So a slew of changes. Again, the clock stop here with Xavier making the changes inside of 5 minutes with the lead. Lucy Desjardins, sophomore in the midfield, also onto the field now for Xavier. What a job this defense has done for the Hawks.
Yeah, they have not allowed Ozaukee Random Lake any opening. They have not. Ozaukee Random Lake has not figured out how to unlock this Xavier defense.
They've allowed just one shot. It was not on goal. It was taken by Cameron Coons in that first half.
And you never felt, Matt, throughout this game, even with that 1-0 lead, you never really felt like Xavier was in danger. You just didn't. Ozaukee Random Lake just never stepped up offensively enough to make Xavier uncomfortable.
On the verge of their second shutout here at state in their 2 games played here. 14th overall, 4th here in the postseason. Anderson, 3 save shutout. That came on Thursday. No saves as Anderson. Pretty quiet afternoon. Instead of 40 seconds left here in Division 4. And Xavier about to become the 9th different school to win a Division 4 state championship now in 11 Division 4 state championship games. The Jedlow. Maddie Proud. The countdown on here at the Eli Soccer Park in Milwaukee. The final seconds tick away for the 4th time in program history. First time since 2008. The Xavier Hawks have won a golden ball. They are the 2025 Division 4 girls soccer state champions. The Xavier Hawks behind goal scored by Sydney Nylitz, along with Helena Krieger, get the shutout win, and they cap off a 23-1 season with their first state title since 2008. They have now won state championships over the course of 3 divisions in their history, winning in Division 3 in 2004, Division 2 in 2005, 2008, and now in Division 4 here in 2025. Stay tuned. Our post-match coverage is coming up here from the Eli Soccer Park in Milwaukee. But first, a message from your local station. This is your WIAA network affiliate. For the 4th time in program history, first time since 2008, the Xavier Hawks lifting a golden ball. They win the Division 4 championship, knocking off Ozaukee Random Lake 2-0, and being joined by Hawks head coach John Meyer. Coach, how strong has your defense been, not only just these last couple of days here at state, but throughout the course of this season?
Yeah, we've done a great job. They've played together 2-3 years. They've played well together, and they know what their jobs are supposed to be. So you just hope they listen. And Eric, you know about that. So.
Hey, Coach Meyer. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you, bud.
I know you've been around Xavier, both boys and girls soccer, for a lot of years.
Yeah, it's good.
The last few years with the girls, it's been not necessarily what you were used to. What does this mean to you personally, and what does this say about perseverance, just continuing to work hard?
Yeah, I think it's more perseverance on the girls doing what we ask, and as you well know, sometimes that's a very difficult task to get them to bite into what you want to do. So I'm just happy for them more than anything. Almost 70 years old, so it's great. I'm going to go home and have a couple of rum and cokes and talk about it with Marshall, who we've been together for a long time, 25 plus. So I'm just happy for everybody that's part of the program. So
I'll wrap it up by quickly asking you, how would you summarize this season?
Well, I think we're 23-1, so I think that's a pretty good summary.
Yeah.
Yeah. We started fast, and years past we kind of started slow and got better towards the end. But this year we had 5 freshmen. We lost 13 freshmen, seniors. But the junior class is right behind them, and we got a lot of great leadership. So God bless them for sticking with us. So.
Well, Coach Meyer, thanks for your time. All the best, and congrats on the championship.
Got her. Thank you.
That's John Meyer, the head coach of the Xavier Hawks, off this Division 4 championship win over the Ozaukee Random Lake 2-0. Now a message from your local station. This is your WIAA network affiliate. Back in Milwaukee, a 2-0 victory for the Xavier Hawks, your 2025 D4 Girls Soccer State Champions. And for their award ceremony, we turn the mic over to the PA announcer, Dan Pfeiffer.
ask each player to come forward as their name is read to receive their individual medal from the 2025 WIAA Division IV State Champion, Xavier Hawks. Sydney Nilitz. Aubrey Reed. Rayleigh Keepers. Kate Jeanette. Ellie Reed. Gabby Wasco. Reagan Valinsky. Sierra Simon. Allison McKinnon. Kayla Standish. Sophie Veda. Elizabeth Munau. Kira Peterson. Ava Layden. Eva Stankovic. Ella Hendricks. Anna Hyman. Helena Krieger. Lexi Simon. Lucy Deschardins.
There you have it, the Xavier Hawks, your 2025 Division IV Girls Soccer State Champions. We'll be back with one more segment, but now a message from our statewide sponsors. This is your WIAA Network affiliates. The Xavier Hawks win the D4 State Championship, shutting out Ozaukee Random Lake 2-0 as we check out the Wisconsin DOT play of the game. The very first goal came in the 4th minute. Sydney Nilitz set the tone for the victorious Xavier Hawks.
Matt, Sydney Nyland, she was the MVP for Xavier today, whether it was scoring the game-winning goal or distributing the ball to her teammates, setting up their second goal. She was doing it all today.
Nylitz in the fourth, the game winner, in a game that would see Xavier outshoot Ozaukee Random Lake 12-1, and the Hawks, for a fourth time in program history, first time since 2008, hoist a golden ball. Stay tuned. About 11 minutes or so from now, we're right back with you with the Division III championship matchup between Catholic Memorial and Edgewood. That'll do it for now, though, from the Eli Soccer Park in Milwaukee. For Eric Shazer, our entire crew, stay cool out there. If you're watching, continue to cover the 42nd WIAA Girls Soccer State Tournament.
The 2025 WIAA Girls State Soccer Championships have been brought to you statewide